Among the thousands of questions and comments I receive, one that tends to persist is Zany, which gun is OP? What is the best gun in ERLC? Which gun should I buy in Liberty County? And with the latest update and the newest arsenal of weapons, there's no better time to answer this question. Make sure you subscribe because this video will be a staple and a great point of reference for players of all levels. We're gonna waste no time, Zanies, as we have a lot of information to get through. Just do me a favor, if you find videos like this valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. A simple act that takes only seconds to complete does wonders to how and whom the channel is recommended to. We're gonna start off in the gun store, and just so that there's no ambiguity, I have access to every gun in the game, not just because of the Big Guns Game Pass, but also because I'm an early access supporter, which means I also got the revolver as part of the major summer update. This video is gonna be broken down in a two-part, Zanies. The first part is going to be the technical part where I talk about the accuracy, recoil, and the presumed use of every weapon system. The second part is going to be the practical part where I basically equip every gun and go out into Liberty County and put it to use. To be clear, I'm going to go out and use each weapon system against potentially innocent and unsuspecting players. Sorry, not sorry. To start off, we're going to equip the Beretta M9. Obviously, this is a handgun with a magazine size of 16, damage 18, at a fire rate of semi-automatic. So let's head into the gun range here and pull out the Beretta. And we're going to shoot this two different ways. We're going to shoot this in the third-person view, and then we're going to zoom in, and we're going to try to shoot this through the first-person view as well. So here we go. We're going to aim center mass and see where a round impacts. Okay, looks like we got rounds on target pretty accurately there. It looks like we got a second round there. Let's try to aim in, and looks like we got our third round, and all rounds on the furthest target seem to be pretty darn accurate, which is really darn good and expected of the Beretta M9. Let's zoom in now and do this first-person shooter. Let's go with a couple headshots here, see if we can do this. Okay, target, and we got 3 rounds on target one more time. Relatively accurate weapon. Now what I want to do is really kind of try to exhaust the rate of fire on this weapon. And we're going to fully reload the magazine. Now we got 16 rounds in the magazine, presumably 1 in the chamber. And here we go, Zanies. Okay, so recoil is definitely not that bad on the Beretta M9. Not bad at all. We're going to do that one more time on the furthest target. And here we go, all 16 rounds. Yeah, that is not bad at all, Zanies. That Beretta has some pretty darn minimal recoil. You are not going to have a problem employing this weapon at a fast rate if you find yourself in a pinch. And I obviously don't know how they've written out the in-game physics for this gun, but normally you would want to employ a Beretta M9 or really any handgun to any targets that are going to be close to medium close to where you're at. Otherwise, your rounds are not going to be effective at all. Keep that in the back of your mind, Zanies. The next weapon system that we're going to have a look at is M14 with a magazine size of 16 as well, damage 8, and a fire rate of semi-automatic. In the range with the M14 now, same idea here, Zanies. We're going to aim center mass. We got a round on target there, round on target there, and round on target there. So that second shot was a little low. I don't know if that was me and the handling of my mouse, but we're going to do that one more time, just like we did with the Beretta M9. Here we go. We got a round on target, and a second and third round on target. Pretty accurate shots there, and we're going to reload, go into the first-person mode, and see what we can do. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, so pretty consistent shot group there. But please keep in mind that these are well-aimed shots, and this is not to simulate what your shots in combat or a firefight will look like. And pretty solid headshots there one more time. So here we go, Zanies. Completely reloaded with a full magazine of 16 rounds. Here we go. And fire rate was pretty darn slow, Zanies. To the best of my ability, I was staying on target, but for whatever reason, I was not seeing rounds impact. So we're going to do that one more time just to get some proof of concept here. Yeah, so I cannot see that I'm seeing the same amount of rounds impact the body as I was with the handgun. I do have a very tight group right there, but you know what? I am going to do that a third time just to see if I can be a little bit more consistent in the torso area and see if it's me or see if it's the weapon itself. Alright, Zenny, so I think this can prove that it is the weapon and it is not me. So just retain this information in the back of your mind that if you're going to be using the M14, the rounds are going to try to impact a little bit lower than where you're aiming, alright? Especially if you're just laying on that trigger and shooting off rounds pretty fast. Those rounds are going to want to impact a little bit lower than where you're aiming. Over to the Colt 1911, magazine size 8, damage 15, rate of fire semi-automatic as well. Into the fire range we go. Colt 19, third-person shooter. Pretty good round, solid round right there. I feel pretty darn confident that where I was aiming is where my rounds impacted. We're going to do that one more time, this time with the head. We got a headshot, Pretty darn good accuracy, if I do say so myself, on the Colt M1911. We're going to zoom into that first-person shooter. Wow, pretty darn impressive, Zanies. Pretty darn impressive on the M1911. Yeah. Wow, okay, so now that we know we get a pretty tight group on this weapon, we're going to reload with a full magazine of 8, and here we go. This is to simulate that we are in the middle of the fight. And boy, I gotta tell you, the rate of fire is very impressive on this weapon. Look at how fast I'm going to shoot off these 8 rounds. And just like that, I am Winchester, isn't that what they say? Alright, and resetting to do that one more time. Here we go. Pretty impressive, Zanies. Pretty impressive. So there is some recoil management that needs to be done if you want to make sure that your rounds stay on target. But all in all, not a bad experience with the Colt M1911. Over to the AK-47 now. Magazine size 31, damage 15, rate of fire 8 rounds per second. Into the fire range we go. Ideally, you would probably want to use this gun for targets that are not too far away from you. The AK-47 is known for its reliability and not necessarily its accuracy. So keep that in mind as well, Zanies. Here we go, placing round center mass. That's pretty good. That's a pretty darn good shot group with the AK-47. We're going to do that one more time as well. Okay, so that shot group was a little bit all over the place, and now we are going to zoom in and we're going to do that in first person. Here we go. That's a really good shot group, and we're going to do that one more time out of the first person view. Recoil does tend to get a little heavy as we move through those rounds, but here's a real test, Zanies. Wow. 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 And that was me trying to keep the weapon down. And this is going to be me not trying to manage the recoil and just letting the weapon do what the weapon's going to do. Wow. The recoil on this AK-47 is just horrendous, but I think that's to be expected of any assault rifle or machine gun in ERLC for some reason. Here we go, I'm going to do this one more time, a third time, and this time I'm going to try to manage the recoil and stay center mass as best I can. So even when I was trying to manage the recoil, all the rounds seem to have been landing alongside the target, and I did appear to have a small little shot group in the chin, upper torso area of the target. I'm going to do that one last and final time. Alright, so I think I saw a couple headshots in there. I definitely saw several shoulder shots, but I don't really think there's another way to say this other than to expect to manage a significant recoil when handling the AK-47. Over to the Mans Revolver now, priced at $1,000, magazine size 6, damage 20, rate of fire semi-automatic as well. Here we go, Zanies. Into the range we go from the third-person view. Wow, that shot group is amazing. I'm pretty sure all rounds impacted in the same area. We're going to do that one more time. That was a sloppy third shot on my part, but pretty impressive. And we're going to do that one more time with the head this time. Yeah, all 3 rounds impacted in that right-hand side of the face. Over to the first-person view now. Very minimal recoil on this weapon. Even though it seems like the weapon is jumping around quite a bit, it tends to reset itself just fine and come back to where you started. You see that? So that's round 1, that's round 2, that's round 3, and I did not touch the weapon or the mouse at all, and it looks like the crosshairs came back to center, which is what you want to see. We're going to do that one more time out of the head. Reset, reset, and all 3 rounds in the head. Pretty impressive. And now we're going to do it with all 6 rounds in the chamber and as fast as we can possibly do it, starting with center mass. Wow. And one more time. And I gotta tell you, I am very confident that every single one of my rounds impacted the torso of that target. And just for the sake of it, we're gonna do it one more time. Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that every single one of my rounds impacted where I wanted to impact it. I gotta tell you, Zany, so far, this revolver has me really impressed. Continuing with the Remington 870, priced at $1,900, magazine size 8, damage 25, rate of fire semi-automatic as well. Into the range we go, Zanies. Anytime we're using a shotgun, you really want to think close quarters, okay? This means that if you're going to be entering buildings, if you're going to be engaging targets at a relatively close range, the shotgun is going to be your best bet and the best weapon to use in that situation. So here we go, aiming center mass, and I think that was more of a bird shot because I kind of saw rounds go all over the place. Let me do that one more time. Yeah, you guys see that? I'm going to put arrows somewhere on the video right now so you guys can see where all of these little rounds are impacting. Yeah, and this is definitely some kind of bird shot. This is not a buckshot at all. You guys see all those rounds? So pretty disappointing to see the poor accuracy on this weapon. Let me move to a closer target. There we go, and now we can see rounds impacting the target there. Maybe that was a little too close. We're going to go to this one here. There we go. Now we got 3 rounds on target there. And we got 2 rounds on target on that one. And with this far one, it doesn't look like we're getting many rounds on target with the exception of 1 or 2. We're going to zoom in and do this out of the first person view. Here we go, Zanies. 1 round on target, 2 rounds on target. Looks like 1 round on target. Same thing there. Looks like we got 4, 5 rounds on target, I'm counting. And obviously this is just kind of peppering the victim here. So this is really no better example of what I was saying. And I gotta tell you, this wasn't even planned. But this just proves what I was saying. You want to make sure you're only using the shotgun for close quarter combat. Otherwise, the shotgun is going to be completely ineffective. So we're going to aim at this middle target here, and we're just going to kind of go at it, see how many rounds impact this target. If you manage to remember that you want to be shooting at targets that are close by, the accuracy is not bad at all. Moving over to the Remington MSR, I really don't even think I want to try this weapon out in the gun range, but I'm going to do it anyway just because it is a sniper rifle. This sniper rifle is going to do no good in the range, but we're going to try center mass there, and there it is, center mass. We're going to do that one more time, center mass again, center mass again, center mass again, and all the bullet holes are in the center of the chest, which is where we want them to be. Yeah, so again, what I was saying, that there's really no point in even trying out the sniper rifle in the range. I mean, this is going to deliver the effect we want. Yeah, you see that? And because the weapon does reset and there's plenty of time in between the shots, it gives you more than enough time to reset your shot if you have to, get back on target, and deliver an accurate shot. So we're not going to go into detail with the Remington MSR, but just remember that the sniper rifle allows you to maintain space between yourself and the target, and sometimes even put obstacles in between you, whether that obstacle is land, water, vehicles, buildings, it doesn't matter. A sniper rifle is great for long-range shots. Over to the PPSH-41, priced at $1,900, magazine size 71, damage 5, rate of fire 8 rounds per second. And did I read that correctly? Damage 5? Wow. So basically this is gonna pet the target is what it's saying. So same thing here, rounds do tend to want to impact a little bit lower on the target than where I'm aiming. We're going to do this one more time, really trying to emphasize that we are shooting center mass, and there it is. Yeah, it does tend to want to move, Zanies. Yeah, and that moved to the right a little bit. Okay, so we're going to do this out of the first person shooter as well. Yeah, trigger is a little light on this weapon, and it does tend to move a little to the right. So here we go. I'm going to shoot it without managing the recoil. All right, well, I don't even know what to say other than I think we all expected that, right? and now I'm going to do that a couple more times trying to manage the recoil. Because I know that the recoil goes up, I am going to start at the bottom. Wow, and I think I got some pretty darn good rounds on target once I started managing the recoil. I do have to say this, I don't know if it's just me or not, but I think managing the recoil on this weapon system is a lot easier than managing the recoil on what otherwise used to be the M249, and definitely easier than managing the recoil on the AK-47. There you go, looking at it a second time, and now we're going to do it even a third time. You have to trust me when I tell you, it doesn't look like I'm doing much for the recoil, but believe me, if you go out there and use this weapon, you're going to have an easier time managing this recoil when compared to the other weapon systems. Not bad at all. Let's move on, Zanies. And the last weapon is a Scorpion for $1,400, magazine size 20, damage 7, 16 rounds per second. Basically what that's telling me is that I am going to exhaust my magazine very, very fast. There's one. Oh, that was actually two. So it's wanting to shoot 2 rounds off every single time I press the trigger, and that could just be because of the rate of fire. Here we go one more time. Yeah. It's definitely firing 2 rounds at a time, if not more. And I can already tell the recoil is going to be a bitch on this weapon. Here we go into the first-person shooter. Not bad, but a little questionable there, that's for sure. I'm not impressed, Zanies. I'm not impressed at all. Here we go, without managing the recoil, unloading the total 20 round magazine on target. I think that happened so fast, I don't even have a commentary to give. Let's do it one more time. Oh, man, this recoil. You guys, we got to do something about this recoil. There we go, that wasn't too bad. I was able to manage the recoil just a little bit on that last magazine. Here we go, starting at the bottom of the target, trying to manage the recoil. And even on a 16 round magazine, I feel like that got me nowhere. I didn't do this with any other weapon system, but I am going to go out here and I'm going to replenish my ammo, because I want to do that a few more times just to kind of prove where I'm at with this weapon. I'm pretty sure I know where this weapon is going to land in my rankings, but I'm not going to say anything just yet, Zanies. That wraps up the technical portion of this video. Let's jump over to the practical portion now. Zanies, I'm so sorry to have to do this to you, but when I started filming this video, I had no idea it was going to stretch well into an hour. In the process of editing all this footage, I managed to bring it down to about 35 to 40 minutes, but even at that, it is an exceptionally long video. Therefore, I'm going to split it into 2 parts, and I'm sorry once again, I don't mean to clickbait anyone, so I promise that the next video will be released within the next 72 hours.